Only you can stop this triumphal mosque on the cherished site of conquered land. Only you. Your sentiments are not being reflected in our politicians. But listen, it's a government by the people and for the people, is it not? I bless you for making this pilgrimage to pay our respects to our cherished loved ones whose lives were extinguished, torn from the bosom of their families, their communities, our country. We are standing in the shadow of the world's largest multicultural center. Yes, that was a multicultural center of peace, tolerance, and love. Yes, our keynote speaker today, Geert Wilders, personifies. Get cheer! I want a cheer! Woohoo! That's right. He came all the way from Holland. Oh my God! Listen, I'm gonna cut my introduction, but this man is my hero, Geert Wilders.
Thank you, Pamela. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying, no mosque here. Exactly. May I ask you to be silent for 10 seconds? Just be silent and listen for 10 seconds. What we hear here in New York are the sounds of life of the greatest city on earth. No place in the world, no place in human history is as vibrant and dynamic as New York City. You hear the cars. You hear the cars. You hear the people. You hear them rushing to their various destinations. You hear the sounds of business in New York, but it will be like Mecca. Mecca, a city without freedom. Whatever your religion, your persuasion, or your gender is, in New York you will find a home. But in Mecca, if your religion is not Islam, you are not even welcome to enter the city. Ladies and gentlemen, Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf, who by the way is not a moderate, this Imam claims the right to build a mosque, a house of Sharia, here on this hallowed ground. But my friends, but we have not forgotten. That is why we are here today, to draw the line here today on this sacred spot. We are here. We are here today in the spirit of America's founding fathers. We are here today in the spirit of freedom. We are here today in the spirit of President Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves. And President Lincoln, he said, and let me quote, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves." And these important words are key to our survival. The tolerance that is crucial to our freedom requires a line of defense. And Mayor Bloomberg uses tolerance as an argument to allow Imam Rauf and his sponsors to build a so-called Cordoba mosque. But Mayor Bloomberg, your mayor, he forgets, however, that openness can never be open-ended. A tolerant society is not a suicidal society. A tolerant society like your city, New York, must defend itself against the powers of darkness, the forces and survive. And this means that we must never give a free hand to those who want to subjugate us. Ladies and gentlemen, an overwhelming majority of Americans is opposed to building this mosque. But so is an overwhelming majority of people everywhere in the non-Islamic world. Because we do realize what is at stake here. We know what this so-called Cordoba mosque really means. Imam Raouf maintains that American secular law and Sharia law are based on the same principles. Imam Raouf refuses to condemn terrorists because he says that terrorism, I quote, is a very complex question. He says, and I quote again Imam Raouf, that America is an accessory to the crime that happened on 9/11. In fact, Imam Raouf said, in the most direct sense, I quote him again, Osama bin Laden is made in the USA. And terrorism will only end if the West acknowledges the harm it has done to Muslims. Ladies and gentlemen, this crazy and idiotic remarks of this extreme imam proves that this man should never play the game he has in mind here in Manhattan. His blame the West, blame America message is an insult. Americans, and by extension, all of us, whose civilization was also attacked on 9/11/2001, are not to blame for what happened here 9 years ago. And Osama bin Laden is not made in the USA. And the West has never harmed Islam before Islam has harmed us all the time, centuries over and over again. And that should stop. Most Americans do not want this so-called Cordoba mosque to be built here because they understand that it's not only a provocation, but it's also a humiliation. They understand the triumphant narrative of a mosque named after the great mosque of Cordoba, which was constructed where a Christian cathedral stood before that land was conquered by Islam. And an overwhelming majority of Americans is opposed to building an Islamic mosque close to ground zero. There is no lack of mosques in New York. The contrary, dozens of buildings where Muslims can pray. It's not about the lack of space for prayer. It's about the symbolic meaning, and we should not allow that to happen here.